You know what? I don't get the best reception sometimes. How are you? What's going on, Shazia?
I'm good. I had a fitting today and I'm back. Look
Oh
at
yeah.
me.
Can you talk about
I'm
your
like
thing?
I'm just like pulling. I don't know that I've been this busy in a while. I told you I had surgery last week. I had a call back an hour and a half before I went into surgery under anesthesia. Like it wasn't like a minor, like, oh no, it was not outpatient. It was in a surgery center. Anyways, I had a call back. I ended up booking that job. So I had the fitting for that job today. So I had to drive to Austin and I just drove back and now I'm on here with you.
How far away is Austin?
It's about 2.5 hours.
Oh wow, that's great. Are you excited? Well, when do you shoot? I mean, can you talk about your booking, or is it all confidential?
Yeah, we'll talk about it when it comes out.
Okay, that's great. Well, whatever. How?
I'm having an actor moment. I had 8 auditions by Friday afternoon for TV and film that I had done last week,
Mhm.
and I was so exhausted, and I was driving to get my kids from school, and my agent sent me another one, and I started crying. I started crying because I was like, "I can't do another audition right now." Like, I feel so burnt out. We don't get paid for this. So I worked last week. I did up 3 to 4 self tapes a day if we add in commercials and TV and film, and I had a callback. It's all I would. We don't get paid for that. We don't get paid to audition, but we work our tails off. And my husband watches me and he's like, "This is the equivalent of me having a job interview, 3 job interviews a day, but each one of them asking me to prepare a PowerPoint on how their company would benefit from me coming in and just not like, and potentially they could just take the PowerPoint and use it and not use him. Like, it is that frustrating. So I had a moment where I was like, I don't know that I'm cut out for this, especially in the self-tape world. Like in my 20s when I was busy like this, at least I was in the room and there was a validation loop there was a circle of like, thank you. That was a great job. Here's an adjustment. We just send it into the void and we hear nothing and we don't get paid for it. So it's really hard. Sorry. Just thought I'd let you in on that.
No, thanks for sharing it. I mean, that is the lifestyle. I had a friend who just did a guest star on a show, and he was enjoying it because he doesn't do a lot of guest stars, and he was on a show, and he was like, and I was like, yeah, man, can you imagine if you were like a series regular on the show? It's like a different thing if you're like working consistently on a show, you got like a day job to go to, like you get the script delivered, and he was had to go to a table, read all that stuff. So I think I think you know the market better than I do. I just know like early 2000s auditioning. I don't know like how it is now. It sounds to me like it's just like an endless loop of I don't
Well,
know.
they see so many people. You have to produce your own audition. You have to edit it. You have no notes. So then you're like, well, I guess I'll do 2 takes that are different because I don't really, if they adjusted me, how would they adjust me? Okay, well, just do the opposite. I don't know. Like, it's a weird time in the self-tape world.
So why don't you just book out for a few weeks and just take a break?
I think I will. I think I will. I need to because that was like I was gonna say no to that audition that came in, but then I came home and I looked at the casting director and what he works on. And it's not about that project. That project, I actually think I'm wrong for. I wouldn't cast me in it. But it's about that casting director seeing me. And because I'm coming from West Coast to East Coast, I have to make new relationships on the East Coast. So this casting director hasn't seen me. So it's important that I turn this in. on the West Coast, it'd be like, come on, if I know the casting director, it's like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna pass on this. That's why it's supposed to be pending your interest, right? Like at the bottom of your audition, it's like, please confirm pending your interest. So if you're not interested in it, if it doesn't spark joy, I don't know that you should do it. So I had to like recover from the fact that I was just upset that I had another audition and then approach it in a whole new way the next day.
Well, it sounds to me you're doing terrific. I mean, from the outside world, it sounds amazing. I mean, I know a lot of people would kill to even audition, to even have a self tape. I mean, it's a hard world to crack, and I think you're lucky you got a body of work at this point, and hopefully we'll get something which is more fulfilling in terms of like a job. It's more consistent, so you can get off the self tape grind, because I know it's a thing.
It is a real thing. I don't know that people are talking about it. And I feel really lonely because I'm not in a town that has community, right? Like you're in LA, you have other comedians around you, you have other creatives and artists, writers. I don't have that. So I feel kind of like, who do I complain about? Like, who do I talk this out with? You
Yeah.
know, the moms at my kids' school are going to be like, what are you talking about? Like the women at Pilates are going to be like, okay, lady. So it's a crazy.
Well, I don't feel like I have that here. I live in LA. Like it's not like I've got this people around me. In fact, I feel like my friends want me to fail, if anything. So it's like I feel like I don't have that at all. I think comedians are really competitive. Like nobody offers an help out here. You're on your own. I mean, maybe it was different when you
Wow.
were here, but like I feel like that I'm just a lone shark out here doing my own thing. So
That's not good. You need to have a support system, and whether that's a mentor or a coach. Do you have a coach or a mentor?
no, I mean I got a few comedy friends, but we're all trying to just find our own way. But my friends who are successful, like they don't double back. Like they're trying to move forward, and they're not. And this is a. I mean, look, you live out here. It's a competitive space. It's
It
not even your friends are gunning for the same stuff you're gunning for. So like
true.
I've just accepted that. Like that's how it is, and that kind of just keeps me going my own things.
Well, it can also make you work harder. But like I just signed up to have this acting coach. Like I bought 5 sessions with her, and it's not about like going over scenes and like coaching with her. It's about talking about how to elevate my career and for us to sit and watch my self tapes because I don't have the space to be in an acting class and putting my mind around an acting class scene. So it's just like going over, watching my self tapes and being like, what worked, what didn't work. That kind of thing is what I use a coach for.
Yeah, I guess the comedy space is different. Like I just feel like I'm in my own race. So it's like up to me what I want to do, how many jokes do I want to write today, like how many shows I want to do. Like I was just in San Fran, and it was hard. It was like, why am I driving up there for one show? But you know, you make choices and you live by it. It's like never complain, never explain, never complain. Like I try to like do that more because otherwise you get down this rabbit hole.
I did. I had a moment last week. And you don't know that you're doing your best work when you're doing that many auditions in a week. I just was like, wow, that was crazy.
Yeah, well, look, people we're blessed, Shaz. I mean, look at the world we live in. I mean, look at what's going on in the world. Like, this is
I know.
blessed
No, I
existence.
know. I
This-
am not complaining. But even within our own, like, I feel like we're not allowed to complain. We're supposed to just always be like, "You be grateful, be grateful." People will give their left arm, and then this, but it's also like a weird industry in that we work really hard every single day, and we don't have a paycheck to show that all the time.
Well,
So it's like a
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think it's a horrible business. I think it's a horrible business, and unless like you're on the upper echelon, it's it's like a sweatshop almost. Like you got to just keep. And I mean, I can speak to both modeling world. I just saw some article about there's a guy that plays Reacher. Is it Alan
oh,
Rich? Whatever his name,
I forget.
Richie Richon. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like the main
Yeah,
actor. And he was talking about being a model in Miami and how awful it was, and how he was like human meat to like these casting directors, and then he got out here and it was the whole thing with the acting thing and how he couldn't catch a break. It's hard for everybody. It's like nobody, unless like your dad's a huge celebrity, can just put you in the movies or a producer or something. It's hard to come up in this business. And
it is. Nobody just really having that overnight success that doesn't exist. Oh, he came out of nowhere, like Ashton Kutcher got off a bus and he made it. Okay, that was Ashton Kutcher, and that was the early '90s. It doesn't happen unless, like what you said, where you have a parent or someone in the business. Other than that, everyone is climbing this staircase and all at the same time. We're all, it's like just people are falling off and you just keep climbing.
yeah, I try to have low expectations, and that's brought me a lot of peace. Like I don't expect anything to happen or anybody to help me. And so when stuff does happen, I'm pleasantly surprised, and I guess happy for that. But like, I'm not expecting anything at this point. I'm just like, well, if I can just get my coffee every day, then that's a win, you know. And I go to the gym, that's a win. I don't expect anything else in my career to happen at this point. I'm just like showing up, but I've stopped moving. But I don't expect it. I think I told you I just signed with a new agent. I don't expect them to give me one audition, but
Oh, yes, congratulations. Let's talk about that. That's exciting.
it doesn't really mean. I mean, I've had like 1,000 agents, but I'm just saying. My point to this is like I'm not expecting them to open some huge door. If they do, great. I'll be happy and I'll walk through that. But like that low expectation thing is like great, you know.
I
That also applies with the relationships. Like I don't expect like dating apps, whatever. Like I had zero expectations in people. Um, it's a beautiful way to live, honestly, for me.
I think that that is good, but
Mm,
I also think having a it's not an expectation, but a knowing and then
mhm.
letting it go and not having an expectation. Like I know that I am good at what I do. I can show up. I can book any job that I'm right for. And if I'm right for it, it will happen. And then you let the expectation go. I think it's important for your brain and your heart to hear you say those words. I don't know
Yeah.
if you remember like 20 years ago, that little girl, that video that went viral, and she like wrote all those things on her mirror, like, I am strong, I am worthy, I am smart, I am talented. And so sometimes, as much as the positive talk, it affects us, so does the negative talk. So being like, well, I don't know if I'm going to book it. I don't want to say, I don't think I'm in, I'm always like, I could book this unless I know I'm wrong for it, which is like that audition that I had on Friday. I'm like, well, I wouldn't cast me in it because that's just not me. But when I do have a chance, I always say, I could book this. Whether or not I will is not up to me, but I could book this if they see it and they like it, I could see myself on set. And I think it's good and positive to hear that. I don't know, like even if I was dating, to be like, you know what? I made a list. I made a list of all the traits that I wanted in a partner and what I wanted my life to be like. And I wrote it out and then I folded it up and I put it behind a painting in my living room and I forgot about it. And after I met Stuart and we were finally moving in together, we didn't move in together till after we were married. And we pulled that painting down and that list fell out and I'd forgotten about it. He's like, "What's this?" And we opened it up and it was the list I made and he really checked every single box. And that was really amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying don't be like you can book any job. You're good enough. I've just to have that. It's that overly. positive mind thing where oh, you got to be so grateful and positive. Like fuck that. It's too much to think do that for me. I can't do that. Like, let me just do the best version of myself. Whatever happens, happens. Like I'm not gonna get married to some because I've been there. I've been that person. Oh, I'm gonna book this. I'm gonna do this, and it's crushing to not do things that you expect or for people to disappoint you. So I do the best version of me. I know what I do. I work every day. I put in the work, and things will happen. Like that
Yes.
agent, that agent who I got, it wasn't. I sent out 50 fucking emails. I wasn't just sitting on my ass. But I wasn't expecting anybody to respond back to me. That's also a thing. I wasn't expecting anybody. I was like, well, so with that attitude, even my stand up, if you watch my stand up, it's like I really don't give a shit. Like if people laugh or not. Like I do care, but like I have a blasé attitude about my stand up. Like, either you're gonna find me funny or you're not gonna find me funny. And that's what kind of informs my stand up and comedy. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of bring that to the world as well.
Yeah. No, I think that is actually a charm about you too, is your like your ego isn't at the forefront of any conversation with you. Um you definitely check it at the door.
Well, Chad, it's also like, if you go through like human tragedy, this stuff's really trivial. It doesn't really mean anything. I mean, who gives a fuck? Who cares about this business or comedy? Give me somebody else. They're gonna forget about you in 50 years when you die. Like nobody, or even less than that. When you pass, there's gonna be another actress, another Indian comic, whatever. So it's the grand scheme of things. You did live for yourself.
You're right. No, you're right. I remember when I left LA and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to leave LA. This is at the height of my career, blah, blah, blah. I went and I lived a life in another country and I came back and nobody even noticed I was gone. It was like everyone was still doing the same thing. The same casting directors were having the same castings.
Yeah.
The same people were going to the same clubs. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, it is not the world does not revolve around us in LA or our industry. And I had a friend the other day. She was like, "Oh my gosh," because I was like, "I can't talk. I have 4 auditions today," and she's like, "I don't know how you do it. I have so much respect for you." Blah blah blah. She's out here. She's not in the industry, and I was like, "Becky, I'm playing pretend." I am not saving people's I'm not like curing cancer. I'm playing pretend. So, thank you. It is hard and it is taxing, but it's not at least none of the stories of the auditions that I had that I was telling were saving people's lives. So, there's that.
Yeah. Well, whatever. It's fine. How is living in Texas? Do you do anything else fun outside of auditioning?
Well, I live near a lot of lakes, and so there's a lot of little boating, fishing trips, walking, hiking. Austin's kind of quirky. It's up there this morning. It's got more of an LA-ish vibe, a hippy dippy, crunchy granola vibe. I
There,
see why the Californians move there.
yeah, a lot. I know a lot of people who actually moved to Austin, which I don't see. I don't understand it, to be honest with you. But I guess they're creating this whole other scene out there in Austin.
Yeah.
Uh, but where you live, you don't feel that effect at all. Like you just see like the influx of people moving in.
No, not they. It seems to be Austin where they go.
Have you been to San Fran out here? And what's your take?
So I mean, San Francisco's changed. San Francisco, right? Yeah, San Fran.
Mm.
Okay. Stuart lived there when I met him. So every other week I would fly to San Francisco and I worked there a lot. I would go up there back in the day and do like Mervyn's catalog, Macy's catalog. But it's not the same. It's not the same San Francisco, at least not downtown. It seems to have gotten a little bit grittier, a little bit harsher, a little bit scarier. Um, but it's a beautiful city. I mean, all of California is gorgeous.
Yeah, I was only there for a day, but I thought it was really nice. I thought it was like, and I just wonder like if more scared in the news, because even Portland, I was in Portland doing some shows, and it was beautiful. And then I was expecting people like protesting on the street and all this stuff. And same like Florida. People think here about Florida. I was in Florida. Florida's perfectly fine. So I feel like things get accentuated for the worse on the news or media or TikTok, or and you're like,
Totally.
and then you go there and you're like, this is totally fine. So I was walking the streets in San Fran, and
I think it depends on what part of San Francisco you're at. Oh, you've gone dark. I can't see you. Did you have
sorry,
a you had a call coming in?
yeah, fuck,
I don't know how to get out of it,
hold on.
but yeah, I agree. I think the news makes certain cities seem to be they're the news. They need to make news out of something.
Shaz, I gotta restart this, but this will save. But I'll start another feed. All right.
Okay. All right. Bye.